Welcome back, everyone. Hope you got a chance to stretch and grab a snack. Next up, we have Anubhav with Omnichannel Content Delivery. Take it away, Anubhav.
Thanks, Anna. Hello, everyone. I hope you all can hear me okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. So welcome again to Adobe Developers Live. I hope you're enjoying the amazing sessions and the content that we have put together for you. By way of introduction, my name is Anubhav Sharma, and I'm a senior solutions consultant at Adobe, specializing in the content space, everything AEM, and I predominantly look after the FSI customers. So today's topic is omnichannel content delivery. So, so what I'm going to talk about. So omnichannel content delivery is a quite a broader topic in terms of what it can cover, but predominantly what we are going to focus on is how you could really create not just the inbound content that we have been creating using AEM, but how you could use AEM uh, a step further to create outbound marketing content. So one of the key challenges when we talk about creating outbound content is aligning those both two channels to create content, which is quite difficult to organize, right? So AEM allows you to create both inbound and outbound channels, and I'm going to talk about a lot of different integration patterns that AEM has got through which you can be able to create content in AEM and distribute it across to our MarTech platforms like Journey Optimizer or Adobe Campaign. So we're also going to talk about why it's important, etc., as we go along this session. Right. So let's just first talk about the problem statement. So our customers interact with us across myriads of different digital touchpoints, be it the marketing websites, the mobile apps, the digital signage solutions, the physical display sitting on your physical locations or stores or branches, etc. And not just that, we also reach out to our customers through different outbound channels, be it email, SMS, etc. And one of the biggest challenge is that the content that is powering all these different channels is sitting across disparate content repositories, which becomes a huge amount of challenge. And what it ultimately leads to is a problem for everybody that is touched upon with this whole process. For the customers, because we are delivering experience through disparate systems, this leads to an inconsistent experience for the end consumers. Uh, for the content creators and marketers, the workflows are more complex. There's lesser reusability of the content that we are because there's no centralized management of content, which creates the workflows even more complex and time consuming and brings down the efficiencies for the people. And at the same time, when you have got so many different systems to maintain and deal with to be able to produce the same outcome, it ultimately brings in a greater complexity and costs for your IT teams. So what you really need is a centralized content management solution that can create content once and distribute it across to all these different myriads of channels. As I said, omnichannel content delivery is quite a broad topic to cover, but what we are going to be focusing on is the outbound content. How we can create some content, email content in AEM, distribute it across to some of the MarTech platforms is what we are going to take a look at today. So talking about it very quickly through what I'm going to covering off today and a bit of a very high level overview of the solution. As you can see, at the center sits the Adobe Experience Manager, and it offers us whole myriads of different capabilities like content fragments to be able to create your structured content, experience fragments, digital assets, etc. So you could use all these different capabilities of building modular content and digital assets to build experiences. And we have been doing it for ages now. We've been doing it for creating all these different set of web pages and web experiences. What if we can use the same capabilities to create your email content? And that just brings across the whole lot of governance controls and everything into the picture as well. So we're going to take a look at how we can create emails using the same patterns in Adobe Experience Manager and then be able to distribute those emails across to our MarTech platforms like Journey Optimizer and Campaign so that you can tie that content across in the customer journeys or the campaigns that you're launching with your customers. So what I'm gonna first cover off is how you could create those emails in AEM and send it off to Adobe Journey Optimizer. And together with that, I'm also going to cover off a very interesting use case around delivering a consistent experience across your emails or the web channels, right? And why it matters, how it can ultimately lead you to better conversions. So these are the things we're going to take a look at as part of a quick demo. So without further ado, let's just straight jump into this whole bunch of different tools that we're going to touch upon as part of this demo. So let's just jump straight into the demo. All right. So I'm going to be starting off with what you could see on my home screen is Adobe Journey Optimizer dashboard. So the home screen of Adobe Journey Optimizer. And on your left, if I just draw your attention on the content management bit, you've got a bit called content templates. So as I click on the content templates up in here, you could say that there's already a template that exists. The source of the template is AJO, right? And now what I want is I want to create a template in Adobe Experience Manager and push it through into Adobe Journey Optimizer so that I can use it across my journeys, user journeys, and campaigns. So let's get started. Let's get into AEM. As I get into the AEM, you could say the new really title called as outbound marketing over here, right? So for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to be using a fictitious brand called Weekend. So for a second, just imagine you are Weekend, right? And you want to send across an email or a campaign to the customers to collect the feedback for the last adventure they had with your brand, right? And at the same time, when you send across that campaign, you also want to give them a recommendation for the next campaign or the next adventure they can have with your brand, right? So if you want to create, so let's suppose you want to create a campaign called Voice Your Victory, okay? And if you want to create a new template that you can send off, you can just click Create, and that's going to take you across to the template that you need to select to start building your experiences. Now, this template comes pre-shipped with a set of components, etc. So your development team can actually build out these templates for you and give you the whole set of relevant components. And James just showed in the last session around front-end development, around how you can create whole heaps of different variations and stylings to these components that your teams can use to build on-brand content, not just for your web channel, but your email channel as well. So I've already created one of the pages or one of the email template up in here. So I'm not just going to create a new one. So let's just go ahead and click Edit. All right. So as you can see, we have got a pre-created template up in here. We're trying to gather the feedback with the customer. And now I have some pre-created, some reusable bits of content. And when you think about reusable, it could be content fragments, experience fragments, etc. So I've got a whole bunch of different components here. And by the way, these are a set of new components called as email core components, right? And they're really powerful in the sense the HTML for your email and web is quite different, right? There are a whole lot of controls and rules that comes into place when you're creating HTMLs for your emails. So email core components take care of that and gives you the starting point around where you can start building these components, take that step forward to go ahead where you want to. So over here, I'm going to be using an experience fragment component. I'm going to drag and drop it onto the page, and I'm going to select an experience fragment that I've created earlier. So let's just get in there, adventures, recommendations, and imagine I want to give a recommendation for a biking experience. And here you go. So imagine the user that I'm gonna, let's imagine it fiction, a user called is James, who lives in Melbourne. And based on the insights that our analytics team has provided, we know that James has more affinity to go biking as an experience, right? So we give them a biking experience. So once I'm happy with the email, I'm all set to send it off to Adobe Journey Optimizer. So all I'm going to do is to just close it, select my email, hit send to, and I'm going to give my template a name. Weekend feedback email. I'm just going to select the right instance of Journey Optimizer where I want to send it off. And once it's all done, it's alrighty. So our template has now made its way to Adobe Journey Optimizer. So let's get back in Adobe Journey Optimizer for a second and hit refresh. And there you go. So we've got our weekend feedback email right up in here. So as I click on that and open it, I can go ahead and edit the content right from within Adobe Journey Optimizer. So if I want to make some changes to the text, I can simply say, thank you for choosing your adventure sports trip for your recent getaway. Let's say I want to add my brand's name with weekend. It's super simple for you to be able to modify the content that you've been sending across. But if you want to take even a step further, you can convert this HTML to a format which is much closer to Adobe Journey Optimizer. And from there on, you can actually drag and drop some additional new components in Journey Optimizer and use it to further enhance your template up into the Journey Optimizer and play around with it. So having said that, I'm quite happy with what I already have, and I'm just gonna send a proof to a customer to see how my email looks like. So I've pre-created a set of profiles, and as I said, I'm going to use James Peterson as a user who lives in Melbourne, and Melbourne users having an affinity for biking, and I'm happy with that. And all I'm going to do is to hit send proof, and there you go. So now it'll take a couple of minutes for Journey Optimizer to process my email and send a proof across to my customers. But here's what, before I get to that, I want to show you something more interesting, right? And this is where I want to talk about that story of consistent experience between the channels. So there are two call to actions for James when he opens up this email. One is he checks your recommendation, straight away click on that and go open there and make a booking. The other thing is he actually clicks on the feedback link. But when you click on the feedback link, the recommendation that he's been given is something else, which doesn't align to his interests. So what about we do a little bit of personalization to make sure we serve up a consistent experience between the email and the web? And let's see what's the impact for that. So what I'm really going to do is I'll create a variation of the experience fragment that I had created for the email channel. So to be able to do that, I'm going to navigate into my experience fragments, get into biking in Melbourne. As you can see, I've created a web variation already. So I'm just going to click ahead and open that. And here you go. So this was just the email variation. And if I want to check the web variation, here's what it looks like. And let's suppose I want to pick a different style as to how it looks like, aligning with the web experience. So I would instead make it, let's say, featured and change the look and feel of the banner. And once I'm happy with what I have, I can export this experience into Adobe Target for an on-site personalization. All right. So the experience fragment exported successfully. The next thing that I'm going to do is to get into Adobe Target. And in Adobe Target interface, I have created an activity up in here. As you can see, I have been using two different experience fragments up in here. For Melbourne Adventurers, I'm using a biking experience. And for Sydney Surfers, I'm using a surfing experience up in here. And this ensures that I provide a personalized experience which is more consistent to my email. So I'm happy with that. I can go ahead and save my activity. It's going to synchronize the activity back to make sure that the changes reflects on the web page that you are on. Having said that, now I'm going to jump on to something interesting. So let's just see if the email that I sent across has made its way into in here. So as you could say, the email that I sent across has already made its way into the inbox, into my inbox. And as you can see up in here, I've got all the details up in here. And now there are two calls to action, as I said. One thing is the offer catches the user's eye while reading the email. The other thing they can do is click on the feedback link. And now when you click on the feedback link, you start filling the feedback. So James started filling the feedback, and just while he was sharing his experience, he said how amazing the trip was. How about I book another one? And there you go. He got the right recommendation just there. So he clicks explore now. And the moment he does that, he gets all the details around the trip. He loves it and makes a booking. And there you go. Providing a consistent experience between your web channel and email ultimately led to a conversion for your business. All right, so that sums up the first story over here. And the other thing that I want to touch upon real quick is how you can share across your emails, not just Adobe Journey Optimizer, but Adobe Campaign as well. So we already talked about the Journey Optimizer, Target, on-site personalization. Let's just take a look at how it is the same thing for Adobe Campaign. All right, so let's just take a look at this another email that I have configured in Adobe Experience Manager. And now this time I've configured it to be sent across to my Adobe Campaign instance. On the left, you can see a whole bunch of different email core components. But what I want to draw your attention towards is the segmentation component. And this is really important. It allows you to serve different content to different segment of users as they work through. So let's just click add segment. First thing is going to ask you as to what content you want to serve to this segment. So I'm going to go ahead and select an experience fragment. This would allow me to select the same content that I have created for the other emails in the web channels. So I have already started reusing some of the content. All right, so I want to show an experience fragment. I want to give a segment condition. And once I'm happy with that, I can choose another, for my other segment, I can use Sydney and give the location. So once the segmentation component is ready, it allows me to provide different set of content for both different set of audiences, be it Melbourne and Sydney. So let's select an experience fragments that we have pre-created. So you can imagine how quickly I've started reusing my content. So let's just go ahead and pick the biking in Melbourne email variation up in here and say done. Let's just preview it. Looks good. Let's give it some content for our Sydney users as well. So I'll just navigate my way to another experience fragment that I've created for the other segment for my Sydney people. There you go. All right, so my content is all ready to go, and I'm ready to send off the template to Adobe Campaign. So I'm just gonna hit start the workflow, and it just allows me to trigger the approve for Adobe Campaign bit. But my campaign is already synced up with Adobe Campaign. So all I'm gonna do is to refresh the content to pull the latest content along with the conditional construct from AEM into Adobe Campaign. And there you go. So we've got the content for Melbourne and Sydney goers. So once I'm happy with that, all I'm going to do is to hit send proof. And it's just going to check for any issues that your delivery might have. And if it's all look good, you can hit confirm delivery. Easy. So it is now ready and sent my proof emails for me to check before I send the actual delivery. So let's get to our demo inbox to see how that made. how that is. So you could say, right, you could do the segmentation right within your AEM interface. Nicole, who is in Sydney, is getting a surfing experience, whereas Andrew, who lives in Melbourne, gets a biking experience. So in a matter of few clicks, you moved from a generic email to a more personalized email, thanks to the segmentation component from Adobe Experience Manager. All right. So with that being said, it covers our part around how the integration works for Adobe Journey Optimizer, how we can provide a consistent experience with Adobe Target between your email channels and the web channels, and also covered how you could create your templates in AEM and distribute them across to Adobe Campaign. All right, so what are the benefits? Let's just touch upon what value do we get out of this. The first thing is we're able to reuse a lot of the content, repurpose it across for different channels. You could build content fragments that are not just being using across your websites, but your emails as well. So it's bringing in once enhances the reusability, it brings in a great amount of efficiency for large-scale campaigns that you launch. The other thing is AEM has got a robust workflow engine, so it provides you whole heaps of improved governance in terms of how you want to review your templates, pre-build some of the stylings, get them approved, get them ready to go, make them on-brand templates, and then you can just distribute them across to Campaign or Journey Optimizer. The other thing is with the consistent experience that we provide, as we saw during the demo, it improves the customer engagement and conversions. And with a good customer experience, it ultimately leads to the customer loyalty. With that, I have left a few useful links for you to explore this capability. You can just read more about the email core components, the modular content that AEM provides, how the segmentation component works in AEM. So with that, I'll just like to conclude and hand it off to you, Hannah, for any questions that people might have.
Hey, Anubhav, it's Ron. How you doing, man?
Hey, hi, Ron.
Sorry, Hannah had to go to the other sessions. So I am here as your humble host for today, or producer, I guess. I am looking. Give me 1 second. Let's see if we have any questions over here in Slack. It looks like it has been pretty quiet, so there are no questions. Yeah, if you are good, we can close early, or you can provide some more of your expertise for the next couple of minutes. But I won't keep you if you're all good.
Yep, I think we are all good. You can just reach out to me if you want to explore anything more around this capability and want to know more. Just yeah, feel free to reach out. That's all about it.
That sounds great. Thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time and sharing with us.